مرحبا، قد لا تكون هذه المقدمة الصغيرة مثالية، لكن تذكروا أن ما يهم هو محتوى هذه الجلسة التي تستمر 7 أيام. نتمنى لك تعلم سعيد. تعلم اللغة الإنجليزية ثم أراك في دولينجو.
Merhaba, iyi öğrenim sağlayın. Bu giriş o kadar mükemmel olmasa da, içerdiği değerli içeriğe odaklanın. Türkler sizi en iyi şekilde bırakıyor. İngilizcenizden sonra Türk dilimizi öğrenin.
Welcome everyone, to the big family of automatic English. I am Grandma Brown, and with my grandson John I will help you with your English.
Good morning, I am Mother Alice, and my specialty is cooking. Together we will help you transform your English forever.
Hello, I am John Stephen, I am the creator of Automatic English, and welcome to the free course, The 7 Automatic English Rules. The first version of this course, I had created it in 2013, when I had just turned 18. The time has come to update it and make it more beautiful, adding everything I have learned, helping millions of students in these years. Enrolling in the path of the 7 rules, you will receive a video a day, together with an email, that will remind you of the transcription and audios available, which you can download and listen where you prefer. On your phone, computer, iPhone, tablet, or any other device, or technology, that will come in the future. You will always have the subtitles with you to help you with your understanding. Every day, I will give you simple, but super effective advice to help you learn to speak in English. The main objective of Automatic English is to help you move from a good understanding in English to be able to speak like us and to understand everything you will hear in English. Attentive, because this method is very different from all the other methods you know, and we will see why in these 7 days. I guarantee that if you follow the path of the 7 rules, your level of speech and understanding will greatly improve. An important thing I want to tell you is that this video is not for those who know 0 words in English, since they cannot understand me. But for those who have at least one small base, or speak a Latin language, that renders the understanding of English almost immediately. Basically, if with the help of subtitles and transcription, you can generally understand what I say, then Automatic English is for you. Today, we will see together the first rule, that is, the secret to learn to speak English. In 2013 when I started, it was still a secret so far. But fortunately, especially in recent years, they have contacted hundreds of teachers, telling me that they are starting to use this course, which makes me happy. The first advice I give you is not to go to traditional English schools. And don't memorize grammar rules, or vocabulary lists. This phrase may sound surprising you. You may wonder, how do I learn English, without going to school, memorizing grammar rules, or studying vocabulary lists? Do you remember what I told you before? This course is not for those who start from scratch, but for those who already have at least a small basis of understanding. Or also for those who already combine everything, and want to continue to improve their own speech, and their understanding. If you are really understanding very little, that is, less than 40%, and you don't speak a Latin language, we have a small course called English for Beginners. And you find it in the description. And that will give you the necessary basis, then move on to this course. Returning to us, I think to learn English, you will have to focus on activities such as listening. But listening is not enough. You must have materials that help you in understanding. But this is not enough for you too. You must have materials that keep your interest and your passion for English high. But this is not enough, because you must have a wide variety of resources, so as not to lose motivation and not get bored. This is the work I do with Automatic English by myself, and with the grandmother of 2013. A certain grandmother.
True, yes. I plan to live up to 120 years. But even when I'm not there anymore, you can listen to me and improve your English, and don't forget to do good.
True mother.
Yes. Over the years he has also convinced me to make videos, although if I am a little shy, I prostrate myself before the camera.
I want to read you a citation from the Oxford University Press, which has shared Stephen Curry, former university professor. Stephen Curry more or less. And he has shared it in 2014, and that I kept it because it reminded me of how absurd the method used in most schools and programs to learn English. That's why I kept it. I have translated the sentences trying to use simple English, and changing the odd word, to make it easy to understand it. I was in French from Canada, but I translate it into English. Surely if we want to make the boys disgusted with baseball, a very good way to do it, it would be to institute baseball lessons in each school. Make the effectiveness of the baseball necessary for the promotion. Create questionnaires about baseball. Describe lists of events of baseball, which should then be memorized, and interpretations about baseball, and which should then be discussed. Then create long courses on strategies, to throw and take the ball. See the whole game as something systematic and incredibly serious, and turn it into a painful occupation. Certainly, some dedicated students would learn all this. And they would continue. The others would hate baseball, and they would never want to think about baseball for the rest of their lives. If we think about it, schools have taught languages in this way, for hundreds of years. Instead of helping us learn the language naturally, we have been made to do things of the most useless part. How to memorize, try to understand all the rules, memorize lists of vocabularies, verbs, and many other ineffective activities, which time have made millions of people hate the language, who have moved away from learning. So to go on the right track, I share with you the rule number that is, listen. You must hear a lot of English that is spoken by true natives. The listening material must be understandable for you in a good part. That's why we give you subtitles, to help you in this process. If you hear things in which you don't understand anything, your learning will be much slower. If you find phrases or words that you don't understand in these rules, don't worry, because your brain will help you understand the rest thanks to the context. Obviously, if you find a small word that makes you curious, and you are not understanding, you are always free to see it, in any online dictionary, but not the memorizes. The key, so I repeat it, listen to content so many times, and that they are understandable. If for example you hear me say the phrase, I think listening is important, after a little times your brain hears this phrase, it will record it, and you will be automatically able to speak in English, correctly, and use this form even on other occasions. Our brain is a wonderful machine that recognizes language structures naturally, if we give it the materials it needs. Quoting this man Stephen Curry again, even herein changed and simplified some words in the translation, to help you in understanding. Improvement methods, so they are those that offer understandable entry, in low anxiety situations, that contain messages that students really want to hear. These methods do not force speech in the second language, and then reproduction. They allow students to talk when they are ready. Recognizing that the improvement comes from listening to understandable entries, and not by forcing or correcting speech. And if we think about it together for a second, it is logical that you work like that. This is what our brain has done to learn our native language, and get to speak naturally without problems. Have you ever seen a stressed child because he didn't remember the articles, or the tenses in his language? I never. This is how all children learn their own language, through listening. So why should we use a different method than what has already worked for every human being on Earth? Many tell me, yes, but I'm no longer a child and I can't learn by listening. The first thing I want to tell you is that I have seen hundreds of millions of students do since 2013. The second thing I want to tell you is that as an adult you have 3 enormous advantages that a child does not have. 1. You can speak a language, and this will help you in understanding. 2. You know the alphabet, you can read, and this will help you learn more quickly. 3. You can focus your attention while listening to English. While a child does not even know what it means to concentrate. Obviously, automatic English is not based only on listening. There are also many other techniques that we will use following the natural method. But more than anything, it is based mainly on listening to authentic English. That as we have seen, it is the most important thing. To help you understand how much this will change your story with English, I share my story with the Spanish language. I have spent more than 10 years in school, from 5 to 16 years, doing everything the teachers told me. Study the alphabet, memorize the words, the verbs, the colors, read boring dialogues, and not authentic, and so on. All this has led me not to speak and not understand English, after 10 years of study. Now I understand that way, it was impossible to learn it. And it makes me angry until now thinking how much time they made me waste. So after 10 years not seeing the results I wanted, I had decided to take the learning in my hands. And I had discovered the natural method. So I immersed myself in Spanish content interesting for me, listening a little every day. A year later, my Spanish had transformed, and so far obviously I speak it without problems. I could even tell you 5 stories about how I have reached the highest levels in French, Spanish, Portuguese, Roman, Italian, German, in less than a year, than in Spanish after 10 years at school. But the video would become too long, so I stop here with the stories related to languages. My level is not perfect at all in these languages. But what I want to make you understand is precisely that it is possible for you to learn English. It is possible for you to learn it, and speak it great, as it was for you with Spanish, after having failed for more than 10 years in school, with a traditional method. I have no special talent. And that is why without having changed the method, even now you will speak well only in English. Remember that speaking great in English will give you access to more than one country, such as the United States, and other countries where English is spoken. And it will give you access to more than 60 million natives, and will change your life forever. If you are thinking right now, I like this method, but I do not live in Australia, or some part of America where English is spoken, can I come here to learn it? The answer is really no. You can come to the United States if you love America, and if you want to visit it. Find your friends and family and have fun. But this is not necessary for your learning of English. Thanks to the internet today you are fortunate to use YouTube, your cell phone, computer or tablet, to be able to create your content immersion in English, wherever you are in the world, even without having to leave your home. This was my case with several languages. I have done much of the learning in my room, or while doing other things, I listen to podcast videos and audios. Quickly summarizing rule number 1. Rule number 1 is very simple. To succeed in learning English, avoid traditional courses, because they are a waste of time. Do not memorize grammar rules, do not memorize vocabulary lists, and do not repeat as a parrot 100 times the same phrase. What to do? Listen a lot of English. 30 minutes of minimum a day. And if you hear a lot, you will improve a lot. You can listen to more than 500 podcasts or free videos, automatic English. It's all for today. I hope you like this first rule. I give you a place for tomorrow for Rule 2 of Automatic English, which is important as much as the first. This rule will allow you to move from the state of understanding to the spoken very quickly. This second rule is repetition, and we will meet tomorrow to discover it together. Remember that to learn English, you just have to know what to do, and continue to do so. Everyone can get it. Before saying goodbye, I have a little novelty about my private life for those who don't know me. On February 22, 2022, I married the love of my life, a French girl. She met me finding automatic English videos to learn English. The natural method has worked so well for her that she has agreed to marry me. At once I say goodbye and see you in rule number 2, tomorrow. Goodbye.